I'm Alfyn Gestoso, your realtor here in Reno and Sparks. And today we're definitely going to have a real conversation about whether it's still possible to buy a house here in 2025. Because let's be real, a lot of people are like, it's too expensive. We cannot get into a home. I don't think we can afford, right? And you just feel like it's totally out of reach when in reality, it's possible. So, Jessica, go ahead and introduce yourself. I know for anyone that hasn't watched any of our episodes or our segments, go ahead and tell the world a little bit about you.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. It's me again, Jess. I am a loan officer with Guild Mortgage, and I've been in the financing industry for almost 6 years now. So I am familiar with what we experience now, and not very normal back in 2020, 2021 market looks like.
Yes. Okay. So we've been definitely hearing a lot like, I want to buy, but rates are just so high. Homes are so expensive, and I don't think I can afford it. So we're definitely going to break that down here for you today. So, Jess, in your opinion, can you still afford to buy in 2025?
Yes. And I know I'm supposed to say yes, but let me explain what it really should narrow down to. I mean, inflation is a really real thing that every single one of us has lived through and dealt with since we have been born, right? It's just part of our economy.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you have been able to afford rent as it keeps going up year by year, it's the same thing with the mortgage. Now, the difference right now is that as opposed to before, renting a home used to be much, much more economical than it was to buy a home back then.
Mm-hmm.
Now, rents are coming very darn close to what a mortgage payment looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really becoming this pick your poison kind of situation when someone is comparing renting versus buying. The difference is when you buy a home, which is the main problem we have right now, which is home prices have been rising. Well, it can also play in your favor in the way that with home prices rising, that means that homes are appreciating year by year. If you manage to hold on to a mortgage and own your home, that appreciation now becomes yours. Think of your home as a little piggy bank that is holding in all that equity that your home is creating that you could technically tap into in the near future if an emergency were to come up, or what's going on a lot lately, what I saw a lot during COVID time, because a lot of people weren't able to work or generate money, is people got into a whole lot of credit card debt. Well,
Mm-hmm.
now that piggy bank, that home that you have that's been appreciating year by year, can probably take you out of that debt hole that you have dug yourself into due to all of those circumstances.
Absolutely. And so, also, let's talk about how monthly payments can be adjusted. What are
Yes.
the options around that? Like buy downs, credits, how does that look?
Mhm. Yeah. So before I answer that question, something I do want to address is the easiest way to determine if buying in 2025, 2026, whenever is for you is, can you actually afford the mortgage payment? I feel like we get so hung up on the fact that interest rates are high, which, to be honest, what is high is home prices, because interest rates on average throughout US history have been higher than 7%.
Mhm.
Right now, we're starting to dip into the 6.8, 6.6 range, so six and a halfs. We're starting to go down again. We're probably never going to see those interest rates that we saw back in 2020, 2021. That was definitely a unique situation. The feds injected a lot of money into the mortgage market to make sure that our economy didn't crash as a whole. We're probably not going to see those twos and threes ever again. We might see fours maybe in a few years, but I'd say probably the normal range that we're going to see is somewhere between fives and high sixes. Okay. So, as far as getting into a mortgage payment that you can afford, there's so many different ways we can go about it. We can look into what is most common right now, which is a rate buy down. we pretty much spend a little more to be able to get a lower interest rate. That way you're paying less interest over the life of the loan. Now, something super salesy that I do say, but is actually true, is you marry the home and you date the interest rate. Rates are constantly changing. So if you can afford the mortgage payment at that higher interest rate, then sit tight, hold on, and then soon as rates come down, you can refinance into that lower interest rate, which a lot of people did back when rates were super low, COVID time. I mean, you could totally keep waiting for something like that to happen again. It might not happen super soon, but I mean, a mortgage loan is for about 30 years unless you pay it off sooner. So it could happen in 30 years. Who knows, right? So you pretty much get into a mortgage you can afford, you wait for the right interest rate to come around, you refinance, and now that refinance allowed you to bring down that mortgage payment depending on how low of an interest rate you can get. I've seen up to $500 more in monthly savings. So that's one way. There are interest rate buy down, temporary interest rate buy downs that we can also look at. Now, those are, the word is in it, right? It's temporary, but we could use a credit from the seller or including your own funds to get you a temporarily much, much lower rate than what is currently accessible in this market. For example, if we talk about the 3-2-1 buy down, without bogging you too much with a lot of lender lingo, pretty much the way that works is, let's say the normal standard rate for you right now is 6.99, but you want to be much, much lower than that to begin with. If we do the 3-2-1 buy down, that means that the first year your interest rate is going to be 3 full percentage less than that starting 6.99 rate. The second year, it'll go up to 1%. And then the third year, it'll go up another 1% until it comes back to that normal starting rate that you had. Now, during those first 3 years, when your rate is adjusting back to the normal rate, if rates do come down, which according to experts, now take that with a grain of salt, according to experts, rates are going to come down. What comes up must come down eventually, right? So maybe those rates are going to be much lower within those first 3 years, and then you can just refinance into a fixed interest rate. And now you don't have to wait for your rate to readjust to that initial 6.99%. And during those first 3 years, now you have a much more affordable, accessible mortgage payment to work with.
I love that. And could you touch base on like the different loan programs? Does that 3-2-1 rate buy down apply to a certain or specific type of loan?
It's pretty much nowadays available for almost any government loan. So for sure, very popular on conventional loans. And we can even look at a rate buy down on an FHA loan even, and on a VA loan as well. So anything that is a standard, not considered creative financing, we can look into a temporary buy down for you as well.
All right. So, Jess, why do you think like waiting? Because we get this a lot. Like, I feel like, oh, market's going to crash. Oh, rates are going to go down. In your opinion, why do you think waiting could actually, cost more than just,
Yeah.
you know, moving the needle forward?
Here's the thing. Rates may come down, but what I don't expect to happen anytime soon is for home prices to go down. Um, this isn't just an inflation issue. It is a supply and demand issue. Northern Nevada, and from my understanding and research, most of the US has an extreme housing shortage, right? So because we have an extreme housing shortage, there just aren't enough homes to go around for the people who need to buy homes. Unfortunately, we have become a renter nation. So because there are way more renters who want to become homeowners and there aren't enough homes out there for sale, then that means that the seller can now afford to sell their home at a higher price because there is that demand. So because of that supply and demand issue that we have practically nationwide, I don't expect home prices to go down drastically. What may go up and down with the years is interest rates. So that's what you may have more power over. I mean, homes very rarely depreciate during it, including during market crashes. Um, there's only been a few economic crashes that we have had in the last 60 years of our history where it has led to home prices going down. The bigger one that a lot of people kind of hold on to and hold on as far as like expectation wise is what happened in '08, 2010.
Mm.
But that was the complete opposite issue of what we have now. That was the problem, was that there were way too many homes
Mhm.
and not enough buyers. We have the complete opposite. So whoever still thinks that what happened in '08, 2010 is going to happen again anytime soon, I I'd give up on that dream.
Yes, I would, for anyone that hasn't visited USA Parkway, go take a stroll, drive down. Just lots of construction happening, lots of growth happening in our community. So definitely, I've been asked this as well, like, hey, I heard market's gonna crash or market's gonna go down. And that's not what we're seeing. We're seeing a lot of demand of people wanting to move here. There's a lot of job opportunities out there as well. So definitely seeing a movement there.
Yeah.
So, Jess, let's play a little game. Fact or friction? It's only 4 questions, and I want you to sprinkle a little bit of what you think about them.
Okay.
So, first question: you need 20% down to buy a home.
False.
2, you'll be stuck with your mortgage rate forever.
Totally false.
3, if you have a student loan, you can't get approved.
False.
And 4, only people with perfect credit can get a home.
Oh, that is so false.
All right.
You said
And
friction. Okay, friction, friction, friction.
there you go. Yes, and I know we've talked about this a little bit, but I know every time we go live, people find a little bit of value of what we say and what we try to just put out there, because these are still questions that do come up. So if any of you, have any questions, concerns, or just an idea of an or a topic that you want us to discuss that you're still unsure of, just leave it in the comments. Let us know what you think, and that way we can just go ahead and have an open discussion here on live. So with our live, we go live on Facebook, YouTube, and also LinkedIn. So if you know anyone that's in this journey of home ownership, wants to get more knowledge and understanding with it, tag them, let them know. We do go live at least once a week, and we talk real estate. And
Yeah.
just like the last couple of minutes, I want to ask some questions, real questions from buyers that I've been getting within the last couple of weeks, and maybe we
Okay.
can just touch base on some of them, okay?
Yeah, let's
If
do
that's
it.
okay. All right. So, one question: should I wait until 2026?
As I said before, home prices are appreciating year by year. So that home that's going to cost you 450 this year will probably cost you more next year.
Absolutely. And can I buy with a friend or a family member?
And of course, you can buy with whoever. I've had up to, I think the most I've done on one loan was 5 people, but there is no limit.
That's, yeah, a lot.
And they weren't all family members.
There you go.
You could
And
buy a
then
compound with your friends. Get the best of both worlds.
yeah, all the addition of income, huh? And all of
Exactly.
that stuff. So how do I know what I qualify for?
How do I know? Um, well, first, I would talk to you about your home buying goals. Do you have a down payment? What's your credit score? And then we would go ahead and start narrowing down what your monthly income is and pretty much get an application going so I can do a pre qualification. Requires no documentation or energy on your end. And I can probably tell you within the same day what it looks like you may qualify for.
Yeah. All right. And then let's say someone wants to buy, but they're not quite ready. What's something they can do right now?
Talk to the experts. Just have a quick, maybe even phone call consultation. I mean, I'm on my phone all the time when I'm driving, when I'm walking. I mean, just ring a person, ring a professional, and ask them all of your questions. It takes zero energy.
Awesome. And then if you're watching this now or later, just DM us for Homebuyer Checklist. And it'll have all the information that you need. We can send it to you. Just go ahead and DM us for that Homebuyer checklist. Another thing, we get it. The market can feel overwhelming at times, but with the right team, it's so doable, right?
That's right. You want to make sure you have the right team on your corner. Okay. So you're going to want to probably interview a couple people before you are. Sometimes the spark is quick, right? You just never know. It's like speed dating. Um, but you want to find someone who you feel, it's emphasis on comfortable. You want to feel comfortable enough to be able to ask those questions that you may believe might be dumb, which granted, we're the experts. We don't expect you to know what we know. So there's never a dumb question, okay? But you want to find the person you feel comfortable enough to ask those questions and make sure that they are going to guide you in the right direction.
Absolutely. And then I just want to announce we have the home buying seminar or webinar coming August 23rd from 11 to 12. We'll have the event link up shortly. It's totally free. So if it's you or somebody that you know that wants to just dive in on more information, how it's going to look like from step one to step end, step 100, then tune in, tag someone that you know and get educated. That's all it is really. We want to provide knowledge and information to those who wants to dive into the journey and learn more about real estate. And if you have any questions, we'll be on the webinar to answer all of your questions. So be sure, if you're watching this now or later, be sure to go ahead and register. I will have the event link up here shortly, hopefully by the end of the day, if not tomorrow. And it's going to be August 23rd from 11 to 12 p.m.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tune in, you guys. I mean, and before we leave, I do want to talk on a win that both Alfyn and I just had. And this is just to show you all how doable it really is to get mortgage ready. And it
Mhm.
doesn't have to take a whole lot of time. I mean, 2 months ago, and this is referring to Chai, 2 months
Oh,
ago. Yes, I know,
I saw
right?
your update. Thank you so much. I was like,
You're
good
welcome. I
news.
know. 2 months ago, Alfyn sent me a couple who have been wanting to buy a home, but were too afraid to start looking into it because they didn't think that their credit score was where it was. And truth be told, it wasn't. But I set them up on a credit plan. I checked in with them every single month to make sure that they are going in the right direction. They did everything that they were told to do. And today, exactly today, they are ready to get going.
I'm so excited for them. They were on track. They were following the plan, and we're touring home soon. So I'm excited. So,
Yes.
thank you again for anyone that's tuning in now or later. I am Alfyn Gestoso, your trusted realtor here in Reno and Sparks. If you are ready and want to dive into home ownership, just text home to 775-544-5011, and I'd love to help you. Jess, any final words?
If you guys have any questions at all, if you're dreaming about owning a home, let's make it into a reality by getting you into that home buying plan. As you can see, it's totally doable and attainable. Just give me a call. My phone number is 775-229-4175. I would gladly help you.
All right. You all have a wonderful Thursday. Bye.